Steven Pinker, a renowned cognitive scientist, has made some pretty big claims about human nature. He argues that, contrary to popular belief, humans are becoming less violent and more peaceful over time. This idea might surprise you, given all the conflict and violence we see in the world today. But Pinker supports his claim with a lot of data, looking at things like war deaths, crime rates, and even the frequency of violent acts in literature and storytelling. He shows that while violence certainly still exists, the long-term trend points towards a decline. It's a complex issue, and his arguments have sparked plenty of debate. Some people disagree, pointing to ongoing conflicts and atrocities as evidence that things aren't really getting better. However, Pinker's work forces us to look at the big picture and consider long-term trends, not just the immediate headlines. He also discusses the role of reason and cooperation in reducing violence, arguing that these traits are fundamental aspects of human nature. It's not just about individuals becoming less violent. It's about societal changes that encourage peaceful conflict resolution. Think about the evolution of international law and human rights agreements, or the development of effective policing strategies. These things help create a society where violence is less likely to occur. Pinker's work also touches on the importance of empathy and morality. He suggests that our innate capacity for compassion and understanding plays a crucial role in building more peaceful societies. We're not just driven by self-interest. We also have a deep-seated need to connect with others and act ethically. Of course, there are plenty of examples of situations where this isn't the case. There are many instances where people act in very selfish and violent ways. Pinker himself acknowledges this, emphasizing that the decline in violence doesn't mean the complete eradication of violence. The progress is undeniable, however. Instead, he's presenting evidence for a gradual, long-term trend towards less violence. His optimistic outlook is based on this long-term trend and the belief that through reason, cooperation, and education we can build even more peaceful societies in the future. This is not to say that every problem is solved. There's still a lot of work to be done. However, his analysis encourages us to believe that progress is possible and that understanding human nature better can lead to positive changes in the world. He also tackles the issue of innate human instincts. Many believe our violent tendencies are hardwired into our brains, making it impossible to truly create a world without violence. Pinker challenges this view, suggesting that while we may have inherited some predispositions towards aggression, these are not insurmountable. They can be shaped and influenced by our environment, our culture, and our own choices. Consider the impact of education on promoting peaceful resolutions, or the role of effective institutions in fostering cooperation. These things show that our innate tendencies are not our destiny. He makes a strong case for the idea that the world is not simply getting more violent, as some might instinctively assume. Looking at historical trends, it's much more nuanced. It's a story of progress punctuated by setbacks. While we still face immense challenges in terms of conflict and violence, Pinker presents evidence suggesting a gradual improvement across various metrics. It's a long-term trend, and one that requires a careful analysis of historical data to truly appreciate. He highlights the importance of understanding these long-term patterns to avoid misinterpretations of current events. Looking solely at the headlines can easily lead to a skewed perception of the overall situation. Thinking about long-term trends provides a far more comprehensive picture. While some critics dismiss Pinker's claims as overly optimistic, it's hard to deny the strength of the evidence he presents. The sheer amount of data supporting the decline in violence across different societies and throughout history is compelling. Even acknowledging the continued existence of conflict, his work pushes us to think critically about violence, its causes, and the possibility of a more peaceful future. It's not simply about the absence of violence. It's about the progress we've made in reducing it and the potential for further advancement. Pinker's work is thought-provoking and challenges us to reconsider some deeply ingrained assumptions about human nature and the inherent violence within it. His research doesn't offer easy answers, but it does offer a new perspective, highlighting the complex interplay of factors that influence the level of violence in the world. Understanding this complexity is the first step towards building a more peaceful future.